Alright, hey guys, Chris here with Armattan Quads. Something I'd like to show you guys. This is an upcoming model which will be released shortly. We call it the Mini Tilt Hexacopter. As you can see, it's got a tilt mechanism for the camera on the front. This was designed in collaboration with three designers at this point. The base design is from Andrew, who's designed many of Armattan models. And then the arms, some of the changes made to the arm were made by Corporal Badger from RC Groups. And then the actual mini hexacopter adaptation and the tilt mechanism integration here into the design was done by Michel on RC Groups. I'm really happy about what he's done with this. Essentially what he did is he took the base design from the Morphite, from Andrew's design, and then he added some of his own his own creativity into this and created the cutouts on there, and I'm really happy with what came out of it. What we have here, in my opinion, is a very strong model, which again will be lifetime warranted. Tell you a bit more about it. The motor mounts on this one are capable of going with a smaller 1306 motor, which may turn out to be actually the recommended motor for this for weight reasons, but guys who want to go bigger with an 1804, 1806 will be able to do that as well on this. The motor mounts will basically range from 12 to 16 millimeter on the arms. And then guys who want to use landing skids will be able to do that as well. The holes are there for this. One very cool feature about this frame, this is, I guess, part of my contribution to the design here, is that I was trying to look at some parts that we have and see if I could come up with something that was cost effective to design, and that would be using parts that we use on other models while keeping it light and efficient. And I came up with this idea of using essentially the same kind of tilt mechanism that is used on the larger tilt models, but only off to one side. And because the plate, essentially this is a much smaller footprint model, so we reduce that quite smaller on there. And we use one rubber bracket, and then we use one CNC pinch clamp, and essentially the result is that you got a little cam plate there that's able to tilt, right? Well, it can tilt quite far. This is a prototype at the moment. There's a little bit of kinking in the corner here when you try to get it through, because the plate is a little bit, the hole needs to be extended a little bit, but this has been, of course, fixed up on a production model. But what you're going to see on the production model is a plate that can tilt all the way back like this, and then all the way back into a 90-degree position for guys who want to just fly slowly. And basically the way it works is simple, is you just put it at the height that you want it, at the angle that you want it, and then you just use a screwdriver. This is a pinch clamp here if we look at it from this side. All right, this is a pinch clamp style clamp. So by securing this front screw here, like so, nice and tight, this guy can't really come out of there now. All right, it's on there nice and strong. And the nice thing about it is that it's mounted with rubber, so there is some flex there. And if you look at the bottom of it, it looks like this. You can actually see the cutout in the main frame where the hinge, sort of the hinge part of it, will go through there and pivot through there. In fact, I'll show you what happens now. I'll just loosen the angle, the clamp, and I'll change the angle, and you will see on the bottom, right, then it protrudes a little bit at 90 degrees. So when you're at 90 degrees, the clamp protrudes a little bit on the bottom, just very slightly, like so. And for a good, I guess for a fast setup, you want to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 degrees or so, just a rough estimate. So you get an idea now of the pitch you would get on the model. and you can go more aggressive than that. In fact, you can go as aggressive as you want with this. And once it's, like I said, once it's secured on there, right, all the way up to about 50 degrees, the clamp is actually is there in that groove there on the main plate. Therefore, it can't actually slip out or anything like that. And it's on there nice and tight. Like, this is, in my opinion, it's not going to come off of there easily in a crash, really. And like I said, there's bend to it. It's not like a rigid plastic part that would break as soon as you go beyond the breaking point, I guess. So I'm really happy with this. And the cool thing about it is that this whole thing here, we're using a 12 millimeters carbon fiber tube in here. And then the whole thing, the little rubber bracket, the clamp, the tube, the whole thing together weighs a total of 6 grams. So, I mean, I know that with these little guys, the weight is important, but 6 grams is, I mean, it's insignificant considering the powertrain you're going to have on this model with 6 motors. So it's, yeah, so that's that. Now, on top of that, we've designed another way to mount a camera on here, which is for Mobius camera. You can mount it on the bottom. So of course, you're going to need 3 bobbins, right? You can mount that on the bottom as such, or you can, alternatively, you can, if you don't use the tilt mechanism here, you can just mount the Mobius plate on top, and then you're going to get insulation from the bobbins for a Mobius camera using this plate here. Now for this, we're not going to be releasing these Mobius plates for probably another 10 days or so, because we had to get special bobbins made that can be mounted on a 4 millimeter plate. And most of them, they use 2 millimeter plates, 1.5 mil plate. So we had to get special custom made bobbins for this, and they're being made at the moment. And then once the bobbins come in, the plates will be available. And then the production model also has some mounting holes on top, and we may eventually offer a full top plate for this, yet for another way to mount and protect the camera, which some guys like to have that. So you can watch out for this in the future as an extra option on how to build these little guys. So that's it, guys. I want to say a big thank you to all 3 of the designers who worked on this. I think you guys are awesome. Yeah, I feel quite lucky to be part of of this collaboration with you guys, because it seems like you're bringing a lot of talent to the table, and I feel like I'm just really lucky to be there at the right time at the right place to work with you guys. So thanks again for everything, designers and everything else watching. Thank you for everything. Any questions, you know where to find us. All right, guys, thank you very much. Cheers.